Well, hello everyone. Here we are, 33 minutes late and on a different channel. Sorry about that. We were hoping to launch our very first weekly talk show here at Verde Brand Communications on our YouTube channel. And I neglected to sign us up to get permission to broadcast live to YouTube. So I'm going to do an encore of this tomorrow on our YouTube channel if you'd like to see it there. But for today, we're going to do it on Facebook Live. Thanks for your patience. And I just want to make sure that my crew at Verde can see me. Hang on 2 seconds. Today is July 13th, and it is 11:30-ish Mountain Standard Time, Mountain Daylight Time. All right, we are good to go. Once again, thank you for your patience, sincerely. My name is Kristin Carpenter, and I am the founder and CEO of Verde Brand Communications, the founder of the Channel Mastery Podcast, and also the founder of the Multi-Channel Marketing Academy. All of this nests under Verde Brand Communications, which will be turning 20 in 2021. So right now we are in our 19th year. And I am kind of ironically broadcasting to you live from the basement of my house today. That's where my studio is, thanks to COVID and actually pre COVID, but we were going to move it out, but not any longer. Pretty comfortable here. But ironically, I founded Verde in the basement of my house 19 years ago when I was pregnant with my son, Tobin Ogden. So Tobin just went to college to Montana State University up in Bozeman, Montana, and I just dropped him off there. I got home a week ago Saturday, and I'm better now. It has been a bit of a week getting used to not having him here at the house, but I'm super proud of him. So just wanted to share a little bit of a full circle moment because we are kicking off something I've wanted to do for a super long time here with my team at Verde, which is a weekly talk show. And we've been doing a ton of live streaming through COVID, as you all probably know. I think we've done 32 streams since the onset of COVID. And I was pretty terrified to do video, let alone live streaming before that. So we've come a long way. And I realize how powerful it is. We've been talking with all of our clients to incorporate more live stream and more video. So we're going to be doing the same. And every Monday at 11 o'clock Mountain Daylight Time, you get to see a weekly talk show with Verde. I'm going to get into the details on that, but this is the very first episode. Um, and for those of you who are new to Verde and to Channel Mastery and to the Multi-Channel Marketing Academy, I wanted to just give you a very quick synopsis. First of all, welcome back to all of our amazing fans and followers. But if you're new, welcome to you. And Verde, as I said, is a 19-year-old, specially brand-focused brand communications agency. I founded the agency 19 years ago from a decade-long journalism career, and I really had this vision as an entrepreneur to create an agency that built all relationships and services from the DNA of storytelling, which obviously brought back everything that I loved about being a journalist. We believe that brand experiences are anchored in story here at Verde, and that needs to be furthered and shared across multiple platforms and on in multiple formats as well. And that's driven everything that we do. It drives our strategy for our clients and is our point of differentiation, hands down. And I am so proud that our agency keeps evolving continually. Honestly, it has had to evolve since day one. I founded the agency to offer a different experience for media in working with a PR company, and we've evolved long and far beyond public relations in our 19 years. But we have never stopped evolving. So everything that we're going through in terms of being nimble and pivoting for COVID, we've really been living and breathing this for pretty much the entire time that Verde's been in business. And especially since I'd say 2011, the change has been quarterly and often obviously more recently through the changes in 2020, it has been daily and weekly. I'm not even kidding, daily. Like most of our practitioners at Verde have literally had to create new strategies weekly or monthly for our clients during COVID. And we have learned a ton through that time. I'm very proud of the agency work that we've done to help our communities in terms of enabling them to more confidently communicate internally and externally as specialty brands. So just super, super proud of all of that. We now have an office in Jackson Hole, an office in Durango, Colorado, and an office in Boulder, Colorado. and 17 amazing practitioners, and a nice small pool of really great contractors as well. And I also wanted to let you know the Channel Mastery podcast was born from that evolution 3 years ago. As a former journalist, I realized that the clients that Verde serves really had not been offered a lot of resources, if any, frankly, that would help them navigate through the incredible changes we were seeing in the quote retail apocalypse. Retail apocalypse was grabbing all the headlines, but I have to say the consumer changes in behavior and consumer preference changes are really what's driving everything. And that is what has not been packaged up from a resource and insight standpoint to specialty brand leaders. And so we set out to do just that with the Channel Mastery podcast. And it is now an award-winning show in its third year, which is crazy. You can check that out at channelmastery.com. Verde is the producer of the Channel Mastery podcast. And last, but very much not least, during COVID, we did our own capital P pivot over here at Verde Brand Communications, and we launched the Multi-Channel Marketing Academy, which is an immersive online course created specifically for specialty brand and business leaders who want to know what works from a channel mix and a content strategy to best be discovered by, to nurture, to engage, and to convert today's shoppers, frankly. And COVID obviously turned everybody's playbook upside down on its ear. And we had been working on building the academy, and we're kind of going to launch it later this year. Not kind of. I mean, I say that because I just think it was a really big undertaking from a visibility standpoint. To be honest, it was intimidating to do. But I knew that our markets and our communities truly needed this resource. So we did it. We launched it, and we just finished the last module last week of the first cohort. And I am really proud to say that we created some serious transformation in this course for these specialty brand and business leaders. And I'm going to talk a little bit about that later. But our next launch is happening in about a month, just before the middle of August 2020. So I'm going to talk a little bit about the resources that will be aligned to that as well. But now I realize, instead of being a little fearful and maybe stage fright and camera shy, believe it or not, around launching the academy, I'm actually feeling like it is our responsibility to launch the academy, because so many of every single one of the brand and business leaders that we had in our first cohort had incredible change happen in their businesses, and they really were able to make positive, lasting change and enable their companies to be consumer centric instead of really focused on the point of distribution. And I'm going to get into that a little bit later, but ultimately it puts the consumer right smack in the middle of all business plans and operations, especially marketing and storytelling. Super, super proud of everything that we pulled off. And I'd like to thank my small but mighty team at Verde for helping me do that, because it was a big lift and we did it. So super proud of that. All right, so that's really the background on everything. But everything is about the consumer at Verde, at Channel Mastery, and at the Academy. We are competing for our consumer or our shopper's attention every single day, and it is a finite resource. Gary Vaynerchuk loves to say that is basically what we're trading today in communications, but really in business is attention. And so we are focused on helping our specialty brands crush it in that regard. Shoot, I just pulled another title of one of Gary Vee's books right there. Forgive me. I read all of his books, though. He's amazing. So we know how to make the specialty brands win. And it is a very competitive, noisy environment out there, as you well know, especially as everyone is quickly evolving their businesses to be more of a balance between points of distribution for both products and content. So it's not just direct or just wholesale anymore. It is a mix of channels. And obviously, the consumer decision journey is happening full force online, as it always has been, but validation, permission, and the actual purchase all happening online. So we're helping our clients and our students in the Multi-Channel Marketing Academy and our clients at Verde just do incredibly well with this changing paradigm. Everything that we do is about the consumer. Okay, so what's going to happen on this live show every Monday? Well, hopefully soon, next week, I'm going to be broadcasting from the absolute awesome Cricket Overland trailer that I habitat that I took delivery of in the middle of June 2020. And taxaoutdoors.com is where you can find out information on the cricket trailer habitat. Um, Taxa is a revered Verde client. We love working with them. And I have to say, I am in love with my habitat. Okay. I have lived in that thing 15 of the last 30 nights. I just love being in it. And my daughter and I are going camping this coming weekend. We went last weekend, and I took my son up to Bozeman in the cricket, and we camped the entire way up and rode bikes. And we camped in it the whole time I was getting him settled in Bozeman. It was amazing. So I cannot recommend that product more. I realize that they are seeing an incredible demand right now, as are we from our media and our creators and our influencers out there. But I just want to let you know, next Monday, and hopefully most Mondays, I will be broadcasting from the cricket, which is cool. And we will be covering the following topics on our weekly show every Monday. News and happenings from our incredible client roster. You can check it out at verdepr.com, as well as our team from Verde. Our team is incredible, and I love to share updates from our team and maybe a win or two for our clients, but also what are we up to? Even though we are still in lockdown, we have a lot of cool stuff happening in terms of the clients that we're helping through this and the creative ways that we're helping them engage and endear their shoppers and consumers, while things are still a little bit compromised in terms of getting in front of people physically. Okay. So I'm excited to share some of the things that we're doing that are really working well for our clients. And then I also will do a very quick synopsis of the content that we'll be offering to you every week. So as all of you know, we have a Channel Mastery podcast that drops every week here at Verde. We will have a blog going forward. Instead of show notes, we're creating a blog. I really like this format so much better. The podcast will remain on audio. You can subscribe by visiting a link at channelmastery.com. But we will also have a short 3-minute segment kind of talking about the key takeaways on our YouTube channel going forward as well. So this week, the week of July 13th, 2020, we're relaunching the Channel Mastery podcast. I'm super excited about that. We've been wanting to start a new season for a while, and we decided to wait until we got through cohort 1 of the Academy to do that. And now here we are, the very first Monday after that, because we wrapped things up on Friday last week. And keep in mind, too, that we will be opening registration on August 11th for the Multi-Channel Marketing Academy Cohort 2. All right. And then lastly, every week, we're going to bring a couple of takes about the changing landscape of media. So I think that it's fair to say that landscape is changing incredibly quickly. We won't go into great detail, but we are going to bring 1 to 2 news headlines on the changes in influencers, content creators, and media practitioners through COVID. And we also will be addressing probably 1 or 2 retail headlines as well in our consumer behavior update. So every week for sure, we will have a consumer behavior update. Sometimes we will have a retail update that nests underneath that, but we will always have a media update as well. So those are the kind of the 4 buckets that we will be going through, and we're going to try and fire through this in 20 minutes to a half an hour max every week. Could be like less than that, but we'll see when we hit our stride. But I'm really, really excited about this. Okay. And also, please don't hesitate to sign up for I guess it's our newsletter online at verdepr.com or channelmastery.com. The goal being, you need to subscribe to the Channel Mastery podcast and get on our newsletter list, because we're going to be announcing the trainings that we'll have coming up for our next launch of the Channel Mastery podcast. And we'll also be discussing those here on Monday too. So whether you're, on the newsletter or not, you'll hear about it here. But ultimately, we're going to be doing those on Zoom right after our live weekly show. So at 11:30 a.m. on Mondays, Mountain Daylight Time, we'll be doing webinars every single week on Zoom. So I'm hoping that you can get registered for that so that you will be able to just go right in and not miss anything. We're going to share a Facebook Live event page also. So Verde's Facebook page, where you're watching this live stream, you can find out all of the details on those Zoom trainings as well. Now, I wanted to spend a little bit of time talking about the Academy in this live broadcast. And again, I feel so incredibly inspired and like a true sense of responsibility to continue to offer the Academy to our incredible specialty brand and business leaders out there. Because once again, there are very few trainings, if any, available just for our specialty brand leaders and business leaders around how to build the right kind of channel mix, how to update your avatar, because obviously everything's changing with COVID. The consumer behavior piece and keeping a tab on that, understanding the pulse of your end consumer is super critical. And you have to be changing things up more than ever. And what the Academy provides is a 7-part framework that you could literally use over and over again. So we know one thing: change is going to continue. We know the consumer is going to continue to evolve, and we know that Amazon and big retail continues to train our consumers every single day around what they should expect when they're researching product online. And what we teach in the Academy is how to grab the attention of that consumer, even though they're being trained by the major marketplaces and big retail. We teach our students how to do such a great job with narrative brand storytelling across just the right channels, targeting just the right consumer, because you have to be very targeted today, as you well know, to basically deliver a story to them that will take them through the consumer decision journey and purchase process, with a call to action, of course, that is continually being up leveled, as you're going through your calendar year for your business. So it is truly a way to go direct to consumer, or launching, instead of go to market, it's go to consumer. It does not at all negate retail. We had several prominent retailers in our first cohort who got incredible value out of this, especially working with some of the brands that we had in there. But you need to understand that the consumer is being trained to have new things offered to them every day, all the time. And the past, we have dropped products, and those have been our launches. And what we train in the Academy is how to be remarkable, to how to create self-identification through story around multiple launches to consumer. It's truly, I mean, I have to say, I was super heartened by the survey results that we are getting in right now from our students, as well as the many testimonials that we've already received. Incredible feedback on this. And I know it will be a game changer for you. And instead of giving you like a light call to action, like go sign up for this or check out our, the webinars we're doing, etc., I'm just going to tell you, you need to get in there. You need to take this course, because it truly will up level how you market, how you go to consumer. Nothing is more important than that. Nothing. So I am being really, really direct with you. This course will bring you transformation in your business. It will bring you value. We saw it happen firsthand. Cool. And I'm just really, really excited about how effective it was, because everybody's taking risk right now as we continue to go through COVID. Here we are in the middle of July, and we're realizing that there are spikes happening again. People can't fly to Europe from America. Like, there's all kinds of changes that are continually happening. It's enabling us, or continuing to catalyze us to run our businesses with a much more agile mindset. And here we are in mid-July. We're coming up on budgeting season. We're going to have a huge facet of the Multi-Channel Marketing Academy, where we're going to be talking about how to build a budget that caters to multiple channels instead of one or two main channels or points of distribution, which will be incredibly valuable. You don't want to miss that. And again, like, I cannot say enough great things about this. The team at Verde and I are super proud of what we've pulled together, and we know it will be a game changer for you. So we invite you to follow along with our launch and come join us in the second cohort of the Academy. Cool. I wanted to go ahead and share a little bit of a snapshot, because this is really the anchor of our weekly talk show here at Verde Brand Communications. What's happening with the end consumer? Okay, so there's basically 5 consumer segments resulting from COVID. And we post every single week in the Academy an updated, detailed consumer behavior report. So this is pulled from the past 2 weeks of the Academy. And just know that our students receive this every single week in the course platform. So very important to know, because we take the time to research this for you. We make the training relevant to this. If there are changes that happen and change kind of the approach that we need to take, we walk our students through that. And that happened several times through this cohort, especially with all of the important transformation that's happening around Black Lives Matter and BIPOC, and just having a more conscientious approach to opening up the outdoors so that everybody feels safe and welcome there. That was all not on the radar when we launched the Academy, and we jumped into that together, and we continue to and will continue to in the second cohort. Okay, so looking at this consumer update, I'm reading from some notes that I have here. I believe that we pulled from a couple different resources, one of which is Ernst & Young. And what we do is we pull the resources and then we make it relevant to specialty audiences such as yourself. So Ernst & Young's Future Consumer Index tracks changing consumer sentiment and behaviors. And they've been doing this before COVID, but obviously through COVID more than usual. So 18 countries, 14,000 people. The latest edition found a rising trend in consumers craving stability. No big surprise there. I'm a consumer and I most definitely crave stability as well. But that's 40%, which is a doubling from the survey last month in June. Okay, so really, really big jump. Half of consumers expect their lives to change significantly in the long term. More than half have reevaluated their values and how they look at their lives because of the pandemic. And the index continues to identify 5 new consumer segments and update them. So I'm going to go ahead and offer those to you. And this is basically subgroups of consumers that will shape demand through the pandemic and as we recover from it. So affordability first is the first one, and obviously no surprise whatsoever here. Consumers want to live within their means, and that represents 30% of the 14,000 global people that they surveyed. This affordability first group is obviously pessimistic. They are definitely coming at their life and the management of their money from a lack standpoint because they're looking at a very uncertain recovery. Price is of utmost importance to them. So that's an affordability first consumer subgroup. Then there's health first. 26% prefer brands and products they trust to be safe and minimize unnecessary risks. And in our world, that's for retailers and brands, especially as we're considering opening up fall and winter in-person activities. 57% say they now pay more attention to how healthy the products are that they buy for their families. Then there's Planet First. Most likely, they will change the products that they want to buy. These consumers are 17% of the cohort surveyed, so 14,000 people globally, and they will pay a premium for high quality, ethically sourced, and sustainable goods. And that has become stronger through COVID. And 59% of this group intend to shop more locally in the long term. Society first. And this is 16% of the segment believe that everyone should work together for the greater good. 73% of them prepared to change their behavior in order to benefit society. They prefer to buy from organizations that are honest and transparent about what they do, which is obviously very important to specialty brands. This is something that we are going to be going through in depth in the second cohort of the Academy. We have an entire track on corporate social responsibility and social ethics in branding that'll be very, very important. Whether you have that built already into your brand and need to refine it, or you need to start from ground zero and build from the ground up. And that's important, actually. Really a quick side note, you can start in the Academy from where you are. A number of our students, when they joined us, thought that they might be like the most inexperienced of the group. People were all over the place. We had CEOs, global VP of marketing, entrepreneurs. We had an incredible array of people. All of them had one thing in common: specialty brands and wanting to be exceptional to their end consumer or shopper. So please know that you're welcome and you can start from where you are. And then the last two consumer segments, experience first. Now this consumer group is intent on living for the moment. And this is 11% of the group. They are the least anxious about their health and finances. 2/3 of them feel comfortable returning to a mall throughout the the recovery from the pandemic, and obviously when that's possible for them. And then there's a group that they called ad lib, which is always a good time, right? What this means for brands and retailers today is all about pivoting. Like they are completely all over the place in terms of a consumer segment. not quite solidified in there, and how they self-identify through what they're going through with COVID and the recession and the social unrest that we're experiencing right now. So I think there probably are a lot more people in the ad lib part of this than maybe we thought or think with this Ernst & Young survey. But keep in mind the main takeaways for specialty from these 5 segments. I think that I know that with strong story, with mission, vision, value, and ethics established, knowing exactly who you serve and how you serve them and on what channels they expect to find you on and transact with you with on, these segments are, I think, informative of a broader swath of consumers. But consider our group the consumers who literally self identify with your brand, your mission, vision, values, and ethics of your brand, the action your brand takes, um, how your brand stands for something. That's all so important to your consumer, and ultimately the way you storytell to the consumer and enable them to share and join your brand's community is really what's going to endear them to you. And you have to keep working on this because it is not set and forget anymore. They are constantly reevaluating their loyalties based on how things are going out there, which is why we look at the broader Ernst & Young type of consumer behavior reports like this every week in the Academy. We're also going to be publishing on our weekly newsletter a synopsis of this summary of consumer behavior as well. That is really going to drive everything that we do from a content standpoint going forward in the Channel Mastery podcast, through our Channel Mastery blog that we'll be doing, and also through the Academy as well as Verde's blog. So I think, again, I feel super confident saying we are so proud to offer this course as a resource. And I really think you should follow our launch, get to know the course and what we're offering, talk to some of the students who just graduated, and really make a great decision for yourself and join us